Hello and welcome to Quiet RC. As usual, I am Rob. It's a beautiful day here in Indianapolis. And today we're going to talk about the Tamiya Comical Grasshopper. Honestly, I just may steal this thing from my kid. It's that much fun. Shh. Well, let me just start off by saying that building an RC car kit from the ground up with a 4-year-old is not for everybody. Be ready to do about 1 to 2 steps over 20 different sessions of sitting down and working on it. What's interesting is actually I bought this as a gift for my kid's 4th birthday, and in between that and actually getting around to building it, Ari over at RC Retro did a video around Christmas time building the comical, I believe it was a frog, with his kid. Real quick aside here, best to Ari, hopefully his father-in-law is recovering, and also hopefully he gets the RC Retro headquarters back together again. I think we might actually have some footage of the car that hit Ari's house. Let's see if we can see that. Let's get to the actual build of this. Not a long video because it's a relatively simple build. In the process though, I did actually add another parts tray to the collection. This one's kind of cool because I decided that I needed something that I could kind of like close up and move to the side because I knew this was going to take a long time over several days to build just because of having to sit down with a 4-year-old and actually do this little by little. So made this little parts tray out of some scrap pieces that I had laying around the house. As with most of the kind of lower end or mid-range Tamiya kits, you're going to have to supply your own bearings. It's something you should just do right out of the gate because you don't want to have to go back into these things just to put all the bearings in that you should have put in the first place. With this one, however, the motor and gear case actually come pre-assembled for you, which is thoughtful, but kind of goes back to my original thing that I said in several videos, which is I kind of wish just the companies just wouldn't build anything because then they end up building things that I have to redo anyways. With this, to get the bearings into the gear case and where that motor is, you're actually gonna have to take it apart anyways, which I did, and put the bearings in. I believe they're all the same bearings off the top of my head, 1150. If that's correct, I'll put a little correct here. Otherwise, I'll put a little thing that says I was wrong, and I'll put the right size, but I think they're all the same size. Take a minute here to remind you, as usual, please like and subscribe and turn those notifications on so you know when one's coming up. We got a lot of builds coming up here, a lot of kits that are being released, a lot of vintage stuff that I found that I'm looking to build, so we'll keep it going here. Once you build that, the car pretty much is a fairly simple kit, not much to it. That's why it's not the worst thing to do with a 4-year-old or a 5, 6, 7-year-old as their first kit. Early on, because the servo is kind of installed within the chassis, that's one of the first things you're gonna do. Just takes a basic servo. This is just one of the inexpensive ones from Amazon. Not very fast. Who knows how accurate the torque numbers are, but really doesn't matter with this particular vehicle. What's nice is it actually comes with oil-filled dampers, and what's even nicer is it just has fixed pistons, so you don't have to worry about doing E-clips or anything like that with the shock shafts. So that's kind of nice. As I mentioned, the motor and gearbox come pre-assembled because it does come with a silver can motor. It also comes, or at least this kit that I had, came with the, I think it's the TBLE, let me take a little quick look here, -02S Tamiya ESC. What's nice about that, not that it just comes with it, but in all of the instructions, you know, for recent Tamiya kits, they show how to mount the ESC switch. However, because they've been using kind of the Tamiya branded or rebranded Hobbywing 1060, it has a completely different switch on it. So I've seen a lot of comments on various forums and groups and whatever saying, hey, this switch doesn't look right. It's it's the right one. It just doesn't actually fit it. However, with the TBLE, it has this kind of fat giant switch on it, and it actually fits perfectly with the mount that's on the kit. So a nice little benefit because it does go right here. Early on, I decided I was going to do the lights. So the lights, and it actually has like taillight pods built into, almost built into the actual chassis, but they have you put them on there. And I went to my trusty $8 Yeah Racing kit. Works perfectly for this. So you put that early on because you are just doing this, and then eventually you do the actual body with these front light pods. And to do these light pods, what I've done in the past with a couple of these kits here is I've used a chrome paint pen, and finally I gave up trying to actually get the tip of the paint pen in there. And what I do is I kind of just dab it onto a piece of plastic or something like that and use a paintbrush to actually get inside the actual light pod. Probably not necessary, but who cares? It works, it's fine. You've also seen me choose a different bumper on a lot of the cars. I don't really like the wide bumper that comes with the Tamiya kits. With this one, it does come with one that obviously is a throwback to the original Grasshopper, kind of that wide one, goes in front of the wheels, but I knew my kid was gonna be running into a lot of things, so I wanted something a lot more robust than that. This bumper from Yeah Racing is for a lot of the GF chassis, so it obviously fits on this one because that's what this is a GF01, I believe, chassis. I've used it on my Dynahead, and when I got it, it doesn't come with any instructions how to put it together, and it is like a bunch of pieces, several different size screws, several different size spacers, so it took a minute to figure out how to actually put it together. I believe I have a slight explanation on that here. You get 6 of these tubes of 3 different lengths. I have the 2 slightly longer lengths left here. The 2 shorter ones go in between these bars that they give you. The bars have a long silver button head screw that comes all the way through down into this bracket. That bracket then gets attached to the actual bumper itself underneath here with the shorter stainless steel screws. I think they're probably 5-6 millimeter long. And that's how you get this portion. Then use the other tubes to put it onto here, and I will do that now. And here it is installed. Now you have 4 screws. They're all the same length, but they're gonna go into 2 different length tubes. Shorter tubes are gonna go on those bottom middle screws. The longer length ones are going to go over the outer upper ones, and those connect all the way to the chassis itself. For these 2 screws, you're going to take out the 2 Phillips head screws that would have been supplied with the actual kit that you're building, and that replaces that and holds in that front U wire that holds on the front of the front arms. Some of the Yeah Racing stuff comes with instructions. Some of it doesn't. This is one of the ones that doesn't come with instructions. It would be nice because it is a little confusing. I would definitely suggest gluing the tires onto the wheels because they do spin a little bit, or if you take a hard corner, they do slip off a little bit. So definitely go that route. At first, I was kind of thinking, well, it's not really not necessary, and I decided to forego it, but came back, had to do it because the tires were slipping off. Once we got the actual chassis and all the electrics in, everything like that, we definitely took it for a couple test runs. Some of them went well, some of them didn't. Oh gosh, it's too fast, Oh my God, but that's okay. That's the risk you run when you have a 4-year-old drive your RC cars, or in this case, his RC car. Now, with this particular Comical, all of them come with the kind of comical driver figure here. However, this one requires more painting than the other ones. The other ones actually come with more decals for the face and everything like that. But this one I did have to paint almost entirely. Put some of the included decals for the helmet, and then over that did a clear coat over the helmet just to protect the decals. At first, I did just double side tape this down, but with all the crashing and bashing around with it, eventually I had to go back, redo it with some shoe goo. If you just want to do that right away, I might suggest doing that right away. The body is painted this particular color because my first kit was the original Grasshopper, and I guess technically it wasn't mine. My dad had actually gotten it from a client of his, so I'm assuming it was around roughly the original release date of the car, 85, 86. I think originally, the original Grasshopper was released in 85. I'm saying, well, when I got it, it was probably like 85, 86, 87, something like that. That was kind of my first time going to Al's Hobby Shop in Elmhurst, where I ultimately had my first job when I was 16 years old. The reason I did it like this is my dad painted the original Grasshopper blue with yellow roll bars, so I decided to kind of recreate that with my kid. However, he wanted the silver top on it, so that's what we did. He wanted the gold and red on the driver figure, so that's what we did. But other than that, the metallic blue from Tamiya is a great color. Back to silver, then backed again with the gunmetal. I always like to use the little foam disc. Not only does it kind of make it nice and tight on here, but it protects the paint. What's nice about this is you actually don't have to take the body on and off to switch out any of the batteries or anything like that. It's all done in the rear through this exhaust here. And how that works is you just pop off these, unplug, and it comes out through the back here. And then of course, just slide it back in, fits right in there, battery lead, and then you just clip it in, plug it in. Of course, I've replaced everything with Dean's connectors just because I do, and then shove it all back in there and you're good to go. What this thing is really known for, obviously with the wheelie bar on back here, is doing wheelies. And it seems like such a gimmicky, silly thing, but I don't know why. It's a ton of fun to do. Now, when I give it to my 4-year-old, I dial the endpoint adjustment on the throttle down to 25%. But if you go reverse and hit it into forward, it'll pop a wheelie even with 25%. Full blast, it'll pop a wheelie every single time. It does roll a little bit, and it's actually not a good off-roader at all. I think these tires are not really knobby enough for off-roading, but on the road, it works great. In the driveway, it works great. And he has a lot of fun with it. He's gotten really good at driving it. When I let him drive it, usually I want to play with it. Does good on little jumps, a little bit of light off-roading it can handle, but you know, anything kind of beyond very short grass that's relatively clean, it's not going to do very well. Very fun build, but I think I actually probably have 2 more of these builds ahead of me, as you can see. Probably do the Frog and the Hornet just to make sure that everybody's equal with what kind of chassis they're driving and just a different body for the most part. So a short one today, just covering the Comical. They're around, they're not really super prevalent, so you're gonna have to hunt a little bit for them. And a little bit more expensive, but it's good because it comes with a much more robust chassis, comes with the oil-filled dampers, obviously comes with electrics, aside from a servo and receiver. But it's a great little kit. I highly recommend it. One thing I would also recommend is with these antenna, the little flags on them. Lost one here, it ripped off pretty easily. This one also ripped off, but I managed to find it and use a little bit of clear packing tape. I think I would also glue in the antenna. They do pop out kind of easily, so keep an eye on that. Definitely would recommend grabbing one of these. Good fun. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about this. And that's all we got for today. So we'll talk RC again later. Thank you.
Stop! Let me measure over them. You stole around them, and they are really fussy. I just stole Daddy's feed. Softly landed. Oh, the feed is in there. Whee! Same size?
Yeah.
Amazing. Can you take a picture of it?